is Rebecca from Papeterie Choix, and you'll notice a little bit different setup. I am visiting my daughter 3.5 hours away from where I live, and babysitting and taking care of animals and doing all the stuff that grandmothers do. And so I released a video a few days ago, and I was asked to do a tutorial on the painted papers that I did in the journal. So I'm doing this with my phone. Usually I record with a vlogging camera. So I hope this goes well. So I'm on my daughter's kitchen counter. I have the house to myself right now. So this is my only chance. So what I have is, I went out to Hobby Lobby and I found 4 of these bottles. They're like squeeze bottles with a little felt tab at the bottom. And I was looking for something to replace glue stick. And that's what is in this, is just regular, like Elmer's white glue. And I do use it for that. And I thought, well, if it will work for glue, then it should work for paint. So it actually fits. The little screw-on lid and the cover actually fits the 2-ounce, the regular 2-ounce paint bottle. So I have just put it on there, and you can see where I've been using it. I did have it on the other bottle like this, but it was like, I poured into this one, it'll just, you know, screw on. So this is some paper from the book I'm working on that I glued together last night, and I need to age it a little more. This is rag paper, and this is, I think, 3 pages. Now I'm doing something that I don't normally do. Usually I do 1 layer at a time when I do putting the paint on it, because it does re-wet the glue underneath a little bit. So I wouldn't recommend, if you're gluing pages together, if this is how you're going to use it, do each piece separately, then glue them together. But this is the example that I want to use, because it needs to be done, because I didn't do it the way that I should have. So the other thing I have is a damp sponge. And when I first started doing this, I used the sponge dry, and this little circle leaves too much of a distinct mark at the edge, and my dry sponge just wasn't moving it around as fast as the paint was drying. So I dampened my sponge, and actually I'm going to put just a little bit of water in it just in case I need it. So here we go. So what I do, it squeezes and it'll come out. It might take it a second because I have used it, and I probably should have had it upside down. There we go. See, you can see it coming out there. So what I do is I just go over, squeezing it a little bit, and usually I do that with my left hand and pat with my right. But basically what I want to do, the very first thing, is pat out these circles that this leaves, so that I do not have a circle pattern on my paper. Now, I did try doing this with the sponge, just with paint on it at first, and it left it made too much of a blob and made the paper too wet, and it absorbed too much in the one area, and I didn't like how that was doing. So once I started doing it this way and kind of, you know, defined and refined what I was doing, then I was happier with it. But you can see how the papers are starting to separate here. So don't do it this way. This is just for example. So yeah, also if you hear a really loud beep go off. My daughter has 2 incubators in the living room with eggs in because she raises pedigree chickens. And right now she has 30 something eggs. And so I have been having to keep an eye on the humidity and the temperature and all the stuff that goes with that process. And so if it dips below a certain amount, it will go off. So if it does, I'll be running away for a second and then coming back. But yeah, I have been here for, well, counting 3 nights at my parents', I have been here for a week and have a week to go. And so I knew that if I didn't do this video now, it would be a good couple of weeks before I could get it done. So I'm just hoping that this phone does what it's supposed to. And now one thing I like to do is I like to put some darker spots in a few places so that it pretty much obliterates the ink on the page, so that you get like this mottled effect. And I also like to go around the edges and just do a few little touches to get the texture of the sponge, because when you put the ink on, I think it looks good that way. That's just my personal taste. Okay, now I'm going to zip this over here to my iron because I want to dry this before we do the next step, so I will be right back. Okay, so the next thing I have is some archival ink in the coffee color by Ranger in a little makeup brush. And so I just go around the edges with the ink. And on this, you can't go wrong by where you put it. And you can make it as dark or as light as you want it to be. I like to have the middle dark and use these pages as the centerfold. I like the interest that it gives. Now, what I do like to do also is where the ink shows through a little bit on the page, I like to go over those parts with a little bit darker ink. Now this is just probably one of many ways that you could do this sort of thing, but I was just playing around really when I was using book pages, the last journal I made, or technically, yeah, the last journal I made. And I think I like the look of this. And the other thing too is on these older pages, the paint kind of strengthens the pages a lot and makes them a little thicker. I'm just going to come a little bit more into that one and a little bit more around that edge right there. Okay, and that's it. And like I said though, you can make it as dark or as light or as grungy as you want. And I still have to do this side, but there you go. Short and sweet and to the point. So thank you all very much for watching. By the time you see this, I should be back home, or at least close to being back home. and trying to rest from this this crazy task I've taken on. So I'll see you all again soon.